Welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in as I move the mic closer to my face. We are here in the throes of what some might call Switch 2 release week. The Switch 2 is out. It came out yesterday. I mean, I was going to record this show yesterday, but I knew I was going to see a movie today, so I said, why not hold off so I could have an extra thing to talk about? Yes, the Switch 2 is out. You know, and the thing is, people thought there are scalpers. There are scalpers. I've seen them on Facebook Marketplace already. $750, I can wait. If I had $500, I guarantee you, I could go to Target next week or Best Buy or Walmart. I could go physically into a store, probably even today, and walk right up and go, I want to Switch 2. They give it to me. But that's ridiculous that people are scalping. And God, all I want to do is just report every single one I see. No one should buy from scalpers, ever. I don't care. Anyway, this shirt smells amazing. I'll get to why I wear this Peloton shirt in a second. But the Switch 2 is out. I think people should. Well, the thing is, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X came out, was that in the middle of the pandemic? Anyway, I think that was in the middle of the pandemic. Anyway, I was able to buy them both months after they came out, when they were in short demand, legally, by buying the Xbox. I got it from Walmart, and the PlayStation, I believe I got that one from Target. But I was able just to wait, and I got lucky, and I was I did the online things where I think Walmart was not a raffle, but you had to sign up for Walmart Plus. I signed up for a trial, and then that made you eligible to buy online. But the whole point is, what I'm saying is, it is 2025. You do not need this thing. The Switch 2 is great. It's a wonderful, powerful device. Where it probably should have been 5 years ago. Yes, it can. There's an update for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where it finally runs at a decent clip, and there's updates for all the other games around. For a lot of other games, right now there's one Switch 2 game, and then we have Donkey Kong coming out, I think, in a month. Donkey Kong Bonanza. You don't need this right now. You don't need this. It's like me wanting to get the strongest MacBook Pro, M4 Max Pro, or the highest computing available on a Windows computer. You don't need it. Just wait. Now, if you don't have a Switch, by all means. But if you do have a Switch, just hold on. Because also, in order to transfer everything over, you still need your Switch. They're still kind of in the Stone Age when it comes to saves and things of that nature. So if I had a Switch 2, I have to get the Switch 2, transfer everything from my original Switch, and then sell the Switch 1. But I think about this all the time. We have so many different ways to play video games, to watch movies, to watch TV shows, to do it all for, quite frankly, I'm not a fan of subscriptions, but for decent prices. If you really didn't want to spend $80 now on games, you could just subscribe to PlayStation Plus, Game Pass, and get yourself an Epic account and a Steam account and a GOG account for your PC or your computing device. And then also subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, or Nintendo Online, I don't know what they call it. And you could have access to truly 1,000 to 2,000 games. Really good ones, too. I just beat Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It was fantastic. It did feel like in that last hour, I beat on Sunday. It felt like in that last hour, they were just rushing you along. The story was great. There were probably two giant twists. And then I spent 25 hours total with that game over the course of a couple of weeks. It takes me a long time to beat games. But in the 24th hour, they're like, okay, and then and it's ending. It's going fast. Which ending do you want? You want this one or you want this one? Okay, we're done. And then the credits rolled, and I went, oh, that's it? Oh, my God. Anyway, I'm wearing this Peloton shirt because I'm in the middle of, what's it called? They have a program where 8 weeks straight they're doing power zone rides, endurance rides that range from 30 minutes to tomorrow's will be 90 minutes. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I'm excited. I already have my yoga class for after, and I already have my warm up and my cool down. So I'm going to be I already work out every day pretty much for like 2 hours, but to sit on the bike for 2 hours straight is going to be insane, and it's going to be fun. Last week it was 75 minutes, and then I also planned to warm up and a cool down, and I did a 30-minute yoga class. Tomorrow I'll be doing 20 because I just don't have the time. But I did. Last week I watched a movie. It was Japanese. It was a Japanese action movie, and I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't Train to Busan. That definitely was not it. Was that it? Train to Busan? No, it wasn't Train to Busan. Okay. It was a Japanese train movie. No, it wasn't Bullet Train. It wasn't Bullet Train Explosion. Was it Korean? Yeah, it's Bullet Train Explosion. Wow. All right. Anyway, I watched that movie. It was 2 hours, and then my entire workout encompassed that 2 hour movie. So I'll have to find something that is 2.5 hours tomorrow, to where I could just like listen to the music, but also watch this movie in my peripheral. Anyway, I saw what was the first movie I saw this week? Friendship, starring Paul Rudd and starring Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. It was a fantastic movie. It was insane. There's one other person in that movie at 3:05 p.m. And it was a woman, I would say roughly in her maybe late 60s, but definitely she was older. She had white hair, and she moved like an older woman. I'll say that much. And there was a point I walked in there at like the movie started at 3:05. I walked in at 3:10 because I don't want to see trailers. But also I saw it not at AMC. I saw it at Landmark theaters, and they have less trailers and commercials. So I knew for a fact that I'd get there basically on time. But I walked in, and she had probably just gotten in herself, and she had this giant bucket of popcorn, and she was not sitting, standing in the middle of all the seats, standing in her seat and just watching trailers, just like standing and eating popcorn. And I went, oh, this is gonna be fun. She sat down. I sat in my aisle seat, several rows back, and we enjoyed that. We watched the movie. I heard her laughing at points, and I went, she knows this is her type of movie. We are one and the same, kindred spirits. It was an excellent movie, and I'm so glad I went to go see it. I think I went on Tuesday. I think that was like one of the last days it was going to be, at least not widely available, because it wasn't like widely available, but in a theater. And I didn't want to go at 3:05, but I knew it was going to end around 5, so why not? Then about an hour ago, I got out of The Phoenician Scheme. This is a rare day of opening movie for me. I'm not somebody who likes to go to movies the day they open, but it was, again, this Landmark Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, by Piedmont Park, only opens on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays early, before 3 p.m. It only opens early those days. Otherwise, I would have to have gone on Tuesday at like 4 o'clock, which I didn't want to do. It's a fantastic movie. There are 2 other people in that theater. Also, I brought a lunch that first time to see Friendship, and I brought my lunch again, as I usually do, because I bike there. It's fun. And every single one of us enjoyed these movies, and we were quiet the entire time. Even the person during the Phoenician scheme eating popcorn was quiet. Oh my goodness. It's a great way to watch movies. And I had a really enjoyable time. Benicio del Toro was fantastic. The young woman that plays his daughter, Kate Winslet's daughter in that. Her name is Mia Threepleton or something like that. I don't know. But that's Kate Winslet's daughter. She did fantastically. Everybody was so good. It was. I think I will say this. It was Wes Anderson's funniest movie in a long and a couple of movies. Like laugh out loud funny. Usually I'll laugh, like at Asteroid City. I sat there and I chuckled a couple of times and. But I'm saying, and the French Dispatch, I chuckled and there's some guffaws and everything. But there's a moment where Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston show up, and it made me just giddy with delight. I enjoyed it. Anyway, Phoenician Scheme, Friendship, fantastic. I'll be seeing Ballerina next week. That'll be at AMC on a Tuesday at 10:15. I can't wait. I love a morning movie. It's my favorite thing. Take Maverick to the dog park, bike over there. I'll be done by 12:30. Are you kidding me? Come back home. I can get some work done. All right. Speaking of movies, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter written by Etten Vlessing. AMC theaters to run commercials ahead of movies along with trailers. We've come to this point where AMC needs more money, and we're going to see more commercials before movies, which is something that I'm not a huge fan of, which is why I already walk into AMC movies. Ooh, that's a big dog bark. Why I walk into AMC movies about 20 minutes late, because I just don't want to see trailers I've already seen, and I don't want to see commercials. AMC has agreed to show pre-show advertising before features begin as a part of a new deal with the National Cinemedia, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Starting on July 1st, AMC will run a platinum spot with pre-movie commercials alongside traditional film trailers that play for its audiences. And AMC and NCM, the in-theater advertising company, will share revenues from the new pre-movie advertising window. I think this is obviously a detriment to the viewer. This is going to push some people away, but obviously if you are somebody who likes going to movies, this shouldn't be a giant factor as to why you don't show up anymore. I do think that this is a necessary evil, to borrow an overused phrase, because people just aren't going to movies anymore. And unless Sinners did well. Great. I'm happy for that, but we need to have that across the board for every single movie, not just Sinners and Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, but for, quite frankly, every single movie, for Friendship, for I Killed a Unicorn. Is that what it's called? The Unicorn? I don't know. The one with Rachel Zegler. For Snow White, for things that are good and bad, quote unquote. And that way we would have avoided something like that, but like these commercials. But now we're just getting this, and AMC AMC did say that they were reluctant to do that to the theaters, but this is just something that has to happen. Hopefully it won't be 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of commercials. Hopefully it's just something that's quick and harmless, but I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that, and it's something that's going. Oh my goodness! Unveiling the NCM could not be reached for comment, but when unveiling its recent first quarter results, NCM indicated it had struck a new long-term agreement with AMC theaters to run through 2042. Wow! So we could be seeing these commercials for a very long time. Yikes! Anyway, I understand people were like, we shouldn't be giving more to capitalism, man. The thing is, if we played along the first time, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. I don't know. I don't know the answer. This next one comes from Eurogamer. It's written by Matt Wales. God damn, this is old. Microsoft's Xbox handheld reportedly sidelined as it focuses on third-party portable devices. Microsoft was Admittedly, building a portable Xbox of some sort, it was probably going to be a PC-driven handheld, much like the Steam Deck. In my head, I thought the Steam Deck was right here, and then I realized it wasn't. So I was going to grab it and hold it up, but it wasn't. Asus was going to provide basically the shell of it and everything, and that would have been, well, Asus was going to be what it was going to be built off of, that base, but that would have been excellent. But as we've seen in these past couple of months, in these past couple of years, along with things like the Lenovo Legion Go or the Lenovo Legion Tab or whatever the big one is, the bigger one, the Go, and the other PC handheld tablet gaming devices. Windows is not really suited for the portable format, and that's what Microsoft is going to be doing, is really upping the game when it comes to implementing the Microsoft's platform onto portable devices. Recently, Valve has released a Steam format. I don't know what it's really called, but a Steam format for Linux format for open it up to different devices, including the Lenovo Legion Go, or Go S, I don't know, which now sells a version with that Linux Steam platform. And it's great. It's much better than the Windows version of that same tablet. There's going to be 4 SKUs of that. And 2, I believe, are the Steam, or one is Steam based. But Microsoft has sidelined this thing, including what they called Asus's Project Keenan, which was supposed to be coming this year. Back in 2017, Phil Spencer, who's the boss of Xbox, said that Microsoft had roughly designed one in the past, and it's a subject he's repeatedly returned to in recent years, fueling speculation the project has been revived. Then in March, Windows Central reported Microsoft had settled on a multi-pronged handheld strategy and would be teaming up with third-party release to release an Xbox-branded portable gaming PC this year under the name Keenan, while it was worked on internally, developed device to release alongside an Xbox Series X and S successor in 2027. But now those claims have been retracted. It's been sidelined, and we're probably not going to see this thing. What I would love for Microsoft to have done is, if they want Xbox everywhere, Sony is trying to release a portable PlayStation of some sort. They're going to get back to their PSP, PS Vita roots in some form or fashion and release a portable PlayStation. Whether it be next year or the year after that, is little to known. Little to be known. Little to known. Title of the episode. And it seems like they want to compete against not just the Switch, but also these other handheld PCs that are gaining steam. I'm using a lot of puns today, and I just don't like it. That's not my style. The thing is, I don't think as many. I'm on Facebook Marketplace a lot. I see a lot of PlayStation portals on sale. I don't think that a lot of people, while the want is there, I don't think a lot of people are going to be out searching for a portable PlayStation anymore. I think that since we have these devices like iPads and like these very expensive phones, which my screen is now cracked again. Every single year for the past 3 years, I've cracked my screen around this time. It's very true. I had to, and just to fact check that, I had to go to my email and double check the last time I went to Ubreak iFix, and yep, June 16th was the last time I got this fixed of last year, which is unfortunate. But and it's especially in the use case of playing games on the go. I don't think I watch, this is I mentioned this in the late night lately I just recorded, but I think everybody doing YouTube is just fake. I think every single person is fake. And I've unsubscribed from a lot of people, and I used to follow a lot of tech channels, but now I don't, because quite frankly, I find them annoying. If you put your face in your thumbnail with your mouth open. You put your face in your thumbnail, period. I'm not going to watch. Whether you review tech, whether you do outdoor stuff, whether you do home tours, we're done. News, we're done. So, but a lot of what these people have done is they do these everyday carry videos, whether they're a photographer, whether they're videographers, whether they're editors, whether they're tech people, whatever. They use everyday tech videos. And I just think you really carry all that shit with you. All of that shit. Like, you have an iPad, you have a computer, you have your phone, you have 3 pairs of headphones, you've got a wallet, you've got a knife. Like, what is, you got more stuff. What is all this? It's crazy to me. When I need downtime, I pull out my Ambernick portable device and I play SNES games. And then when I want to play something bigger, I pull out my Steam Deck. And then when I don't want to play Steam Deck games, I pull out my Switch. You don't need all of that. That's so stupid. Anyway, oftentimes, so I say all this because NVIDIA finally released a GeForce client for Steam and for the Steam Deck in particular, to where now I don't have to put, a Chromium based application in my Steam for that on my Steam Deck for the GeForce Now. And GeForce Now is some games on your PC, some games for Xbox Game Pass. If you subscribe to that, you can play over the cloud for an hour for free, or if you pay for it, you can play for, I don't know, a couple hours, whatever. But it's free, and I enjoy playing Xbox games that way. And then I also have Chiaki for Steam Deck and Greenlight for Steam Deck, and those respectively allow me to play PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And while those two are much more spotty, it's still a great way to have those consoles available to me in my hand, as opposed to buying some device that is only locked in on those systems. Like, I would hate to have an Xbox branded handheld PC like device that, yes, can download Game Pass games, but also sometimes it works with Steam, or you have to do this back end thing to work with Steam. No, I want to be able to access everything all the time. And it would be so infinitely stupid if PlayStation tried to lock us into one spot. I'm not saying it's not worth it, in quotes, but Nintendo has the ability to do that versus Xbox and PlayStation, you don't. So we'll see what happens. Xbox's game showcase is coming on Sunday, June 8th, 6 p.m. UK time. So what is that, roughly 2 p.m. our time? I don't know time periods. It's been tough watching the French Open because sometimes I'll get home from the gym and the women will be done. And I'm like, what? Like, I wanted to watch that. All right, this next one comes from Hollywood Reporter, written by Alex Weprin and Tony Maglio. ESPN will look quite different next week. ESPN is doing just basically closed its LA offices. We've got this. Yeah, this is written, Jesus Christ, 2 weeks ago. ESPN looks different. There's no more Sports Center in LA. Scott Verrett his contract's not been renewed, and he's probably going to be gone after 25 years. Around the Horn is done. Everything is basically moved to Bristol, and we're just seeing a smaller ESPN, what they would call more lean. What people who probably work there and inside of the industry will probably say they want ESPN and Disney want more with less. ESPN's trying to be modernized. They're trying to basically make ESPN, I don't know, a watered down version of what it used to be. Morning shows like Get Up and First Take will continue to shoot in New York, but there's only a couple of DC shows, including Scott Van Pelt's Sports Center, which shoots at midnight, which airs at midnight rather, and Pardon the Interruption, which also uses the same DC studio. But again, LA is gone. They're done with that. Disney's Bob Iger, because Disney owns ESPN, in Manhattan earlier in May said, and ESPN chief Jimmy Pietro said the company is hard at work on an interactive, customized version of the sports highlight show, SportsCenter, that can be tailored to every single user based on their favorite teams, leagues, or players. What I feel like is, yes, they're trying to make ESPN and SportsCenter as a whole. They're trying to make these platforms a lot more modernized, but they're also trying to gamify everything. And this is where this focus on bets and stuff has come in, and it's become unfortunate. And they're doing this AI thing that's going to be cropped up, and it's going to be a big part, I feel, of this new ESPN app that is coming at some point later this year. ESPN Plus is going to still exist, of course, alongside Disney Plus and Hulu, but we also have ESPN within the app. ESPN's not abandoning its studios, but the mix of those shows and where they live is going to change. There's going to be a TikTokified version of SportsCenter that streams for Disney Plus. I believe that's SC30 or something like that. I see it passed by on Disney Plus. I'm like, take me to The Simpsons, take me to Doctor Who. I don't give a heck about this thing. Prominent people like Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee are going to be basically the coverage of what ESPN is, and TNT Sports' Inside the NBA is going to join the channel for occasional pregame coverage for NBA. But they're going to be doing half the work, essentially, which really sucks. I don't know what. Speaking of Stephen A. Smith, I'm not a fan of that guy. The Mad Dog channel, if you didn't know, it was announced this week on Howard Stern's show that Stephen A. is getting 2 new shows on Mad Dog's channel, and with that, one show had to be canceled. And now they are basically in a feud. Michelle Beadle, I believe, and her co-host with Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A.'s centrist, center-right attitude is just it's just piss poor. I don't like him at all, and I don't care what he has to say. There's not. I will say that there's not a single person on ESPN that I trust, except for Scott Van Pelt. Never mind. There's one single person I like. Everyone else can go eat a bag of rocks. And it's unfortunate the Inside the NBA crew has to join these bozos. I do like Maria Taylor. No, wait, she's on NBC. Well, also I know her, but it's regardless of that, it's insane. ESPN, I feel like it's not too late. I feel like it is too much for ESPN to become a more modern version of what it wanted to be, or what it wants to be. This is a hard turn that is something that could push away viewers. When I scroll around, when I'm on my bike after the gym, and I was scrolling around through news shows in the morning, I go from CBS Mornings to Today Show to CNN this morning because I used to work on that show, so I still watch it. I never watch Good Morning America because they're never on when I turn the channel to that channel. Also, all 3 anchors are never there at the same time. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I won't get into it. I do have problems with that show. And then Morning Joe and sometimes Squawk Box. But when I'm cycling through those shows and I see sports shows, I often see the Fox Sports shows, and they all kind of look the same. And by that I mean they're not overly produced. Whereas and sometimes, and this happens on ESPN as well, sometimes it'll be a televised radio show, which I think is what all of these shows should be. It's a televised radio show, and then they'll show the phone line, and somebody will be talking, and it'll just be a long shot of that. I think that's where these shows work their best. You don't need to capture someone's attention all the time with graphics and yelling and hot takes and all this stuff. These shows, I believe, live better when they're just radio shows for 3-hour blocks and it's just people talking. A lot of times, this ESPN radio, I feel, and I'm not somebody who listens to ESPN radio quite often, but I feel like it's a much better platform than what ESPN is at all, period. Anyway, they're all in Bristol, Connecticut now, and that's where that's where they've been the entire time. But now it seems like the focus is on there to do everything cheap. And when the NFL Network moved from New York to LA, and they kept half a studio for Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt, it didn't work. The transition still felt off. It was kind of like I did for Global Running Day this week. Peloton had 6 instructors teach a class, cycling in and out between London and America and New York. They would go New York, London, New York, London, New York, London, and watching those people interact with each other, it was as if they'd never spoken to each other before in their entire fucking lives. And it was so stupid for me to be on my treadmill and for somebody to be like, and try to tell a joke. Meanwhile, Gotham is on my phone and I'm just watching that the entire time. Gotham is so good. I love Gotham. I wish I wasn't watching it as I was working out. I could stop, but I'm not going to. Because now I'm in season 4. I'm almost done with the show. I'm in the middle of season 4. Every time I watch it, my heart starts beating fast and I have to get up. All right, this final bit comes from my friend Kayla Cobb. Not my friend. Over at the Wrap. Why adult animation might be saving TV. Well, I have a different water bottle over here. It's a Yeti. And no big deal. But I put a lot of stickers on it. But anyway, it's so hard to open. This is the one I took to the movie theater. It's hard to open, so I can't just drink water versus the Hydro Flask, which is over there. I could just sip water. The sun is shining. I want to go to the pool. I got to hurry this up. I want to go to the pool and just lay down for a second before I watch the new Predator movie. It's called Killer of Killers. Predator, Killer of Killers. It's an anthology. I'm excited. I'm going to have a burrito. I'm going to watch the movie. People are out. I live next to bars. People are out. I hear them every night. Meanwhile, I'm like, I got to watch this movie. I got to play Claire Obscure. I'm silly. Now, Kayla, when writing about these adult animation shows, she's talking about not just everything that's on Fox, the animation domination, like Bob's Burgers, The Simpsons, and Family Guy, but she's also talking about stuff like Rick and Morty, stuff like, I was going to say Big Mouth, which just ended its 8-season run on Netflix. Don't tell me what happens. I know they grow up. I only watched 1 episode so far, up season 8. But these shows are so popular. If you look at shows like Family Guy and Bob's Burgers, and I mentioned this when they received their 4th-season renewal, that those shows, Crapopolis and The Simpsons, those shows, American Dad and The Simpsons, people consistently watch those shows on Hulu or on Disney Plus, but mostly on Hulu all the time. If you look in the top shows or top search shows or top watch shows on Hulu, you will always see Family Guy. Why is that? It's because more or less these shows have a lot of episodes and also they're popular. The Simpsons has 36 seasons. And for some reason, there's not a title on Disney Plus, but whatever. South Park has 26 seasons, I think, something like that. Rick and Morty became one of the biggest titles in the world, increasing between 152%, starting at 152% between January 2020 and October 2023, according to Parrot Analytics, as Caleb reports here. That was probably due to the pandemic, but also people love Rick and Morty. South Park was purchased by Warner Brothers Discovery for streaming rights from Paramount for $500 million. that deal is going to end obviously in July, and we'll see. More than likely, we'll probably see South Park on both Max, HBO Max, and Paramount Plus. Also, Comedy Central renewed South Park through 2027 for $900 million. They put out one thing between them, and they Matt Stone and Trey Parker are set to produce 14 specials exclusive for Paramount Plus. People love these shows, and they continually watch them. In the same way that, I don't know, people watch, MCU movies. People watch that. In the same way I watch Mission Impossible. I love Mission Impossible. I saw Final Reckoning. I enjoyed it. It was messy. I enjoyed it. What's going on between what's the difference between these shows and shows that just are on and people don't do that too? I mean, yeah, and yes, it's the idea that there are comfort shows. Yeah, I do love watching Friends and How I Met Your Mother and New Girl, but I don't watch them in the same way that shows like The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers and Family Guy are syndicated. The Simpsons movie made $536 million worldwide. Huh. That's crazy. They also have long viewership windows. While certain Adult Swim shows like Rick and Morty and Common Side Effects are appointment viewing for fans, shows that have been off the air for like years, including The Boondocks and Aqua Teen Hunger Force, still have really good streaming engagement. And which is so crazy to me, which is why would Max always cycle their shows in and out? I would just, right now I'm subscribing the way I'm subscribing to Max is via the Disney bundle. So I've dropped ESPN Plus. I brought everything together so I could do Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max. I feel like that's the best way to get it. Now, the only way to get 4K and Dolby Vision out of Max is not by going to the Disney Bundle Premium, which is $30 a month, and you get Hulu, Disney Plus, and Max, no commercials, but you only get Max HD. And while Disney Plus and Hulu will be Dolby Vision and 4K, the only way to get Max, HBO Max, with 4K Dolby Vision is by subscribing directly to them, by paying $20 directly to them instead of splitting it with Disney. It doesn't make sense that they won't do the same thing with their programming. Why not split? Hey, we have all of the Cartoon Network shows on here, but you can also watch some Cartoon Network shows on Hulu and on Tubi and on Pluto and these other platforms. But if you want to get every Cartoon Network show, then you also have to subscribe to us. I don't think, as somebody who came from that company, why don't they do that? There's also merchandising. You can also have big merch. I see Rick and Morty shirts all over the place. In fact, I do believe I have one from the closet at Cartoon Network. I do have one in my closet right now, and I do think it is in a giveaway pile because I don't want. This Peloton shirt is something I would wear because it's so sleek, and I don't want to wear a big shirt with like cartoons on it or giant pictures. I just kind of want to wear a shirt. I just want to wear a plain shirt. That's it, like a cartoon character. I just want to wear a shirt and pants or shorts, whatever. Kayla Cobb also writes that it's an investment that is high risk, high rewards. It takes a lot of time to make these shows, but if you have a show like Rick and Morty, it can also pay off very much so in the long run. Scott Marder, who's a showrunner of Rick and Morty, said, "If your big achievement is you greenlit the new Simpsons, you might have done it 2 years ago. In that time, how many Nicole Kidman 8-episode murder shows are rolling over you?" Part of that relationship with a new show in animation and comedy, honestly, is patience and support. If you think about the road to success for Family Guy and Bob's Burgers, neither of those shows were overnight successes. They were always brilliant, but it took a while for them to get these iconic series, which is why you see Fox renewing a show like Universal Basic Guys or picking up a show for 2 seasons. More often than not, when they picked up that show 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they picked it up for 2 seasons initially. It's because it takes a long time to make these shows. Anyway, they're trying to find, especially with these new animated series like Rick and Morty, you have to find these newer people ahead of time because we have shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and Bob's Burgers that could end at the end of this 4-season renewal. They could end in 10 years. When these shows are done, they're going to be done. And then where will that leave Fox and Adult Swim and Netflix in the interim? Also, people just like watching this stuff. I know I do. That's why I watch The Simpsons every day. That's why when it comes time to make dinner and I just want to have something on in the background, I turn on YouTube TV and guess what's playing at 6 p.m.? Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, both on FX and Comedy Central. I don't know what networks they play on. And then what's airing on Adult Swim, King of the Hill, American Dad, whatever. I'm just going to turn it on. Adult animation's the perfect thing. It's something that can be made endlessly. And if you do it right, it's going to affect your pocketbook by blowing it. It's going to make it get you so rich. All right, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. If you want to see me talk to famous people via video, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. And that's where you can do that. You can see a video version of this show, as well as a video version of the other shows, Late Night Lately, and which is the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, which is the Jobs podcast. Find those on youtube.com/cpluscomedy alongside the interview. Subscribe to all of those via your podcast provider, your podcatcher, whatever. Follow us on social media at Blue Sky, Instagram and TikTok at cpluscomedy, me at Chat Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.